Have you seen a particular category doing well online?
I think silver jewelry under 5,000 rupees in India has really been doing very, very well in the last few years.
Somebody who's wanting to start their digital journey, start an e-commerce store, or even a traditional jeweler not having a website presence wants to start a store. Everybody first thinks of Shopify. So what is your perspective? Is Shopify the best route, or there are alternatives, or does it depend on case-to-case basis?
I think Shopify is the gold standard of e-commerce. And I'll tell you why. Because I have pretty much worked with every platform that exists out there. Shopify has spent billions mastering one thing only, which is e-commerce.
Welcome to another episode of the Learnathon Podcast. And at JK Diamonds Institute, we have so many students as well as our previous alumni asking us questions related to e-commerce, about digital marketing, and how a traditional jeweler can move online, where to start from. There are so many overwhelming questions that come to us, and that is exactly what we are going to cover in today's episode. I have Sohail Dewani with me, the man behind the Jewelers League. And I have been following his journey since the past few months. I've been seeing the content that he's putting out, and it really resonated with me because of the questions that were being asked on campus. I really thought I had to reach out to him and get him on board to do this podcast with me. Welcome, a very warm welcome to you, Sohail. And thank you for doing this. So Sohail is a jewelry e-commerce expert, and he has clients pan-India as well as across the globe. So I'm sure he's going to bring in a lot of experience and a lot of practical, implications of how you can bring your brand online. So let's start with you. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor and pleasure.
Okay. So just wanted to directly start off.
Sure.
Say I am a diamond jeweler. Okay, now diamond jewelry comes under luxury category.
Right.
Okay. So for somebody like me who doesn't have a store, doesn't have a background, but wants to do e-commerce, is there a starting point?
Well, there definitely is. I mean, some formal education is definitely necessary to understand. See, I believe jewelry is still a very high emotional purchase, and it works very differently from any other product category. Like buying a 5,000 rupee dress is very different from buying a 50,000 rupee necklace, and the user journey is completely different. So obviously you need some background in understanding how online purchase works, as well as some knowledge about jewelry industry and what motivates a jewelry buy. Like I could see an Instagram ad, I could see like a fancy t-shirt, a fancy dress, and immediately be interested and not have like that longer user journey, and I'd be like, hit buy, ho gaya, 2 din mein I get it at home. But jewelry ke liye, I think in terms of starting point, if you say the first thing today, I would say is to have a brand story. You have to have a story to tell, to resonate with your customer. If you have that story pat down, your why is very important. Why are you doing that?
Yeah.
If that's not figured out, the customer can sense it. Your website will look like a catalog. Your website will look like any Envato theme or any Shopify theme store.
Yeah.
It will not have that distinguishing character which sets it apart and kind of resonates. So I feel that understanding is very necessary. Even if you don't have a necessary jewelry background, if you have your finger on that pulse, I think it can make the journey a lot more easier to begin with.
Makes sense. Now, the way you put it so well, if we can go a little bit towards your background,
Sure.
of how is this kind of knowledge coming through. So just give us a gist of how you've been in this industry and why you are doing only jewelry, why only jewelry services that you're providing, jewelry e-commerce services or marketing services. So yeah, go ahead.
So like I was telling you earlier, jewelry found me rather than being a design choice or a career choice. I found myself in a jewelry job. I used to work with a wholesaler manufacturer in the United States, uh, selling jewelry to retailers across Americas, like North America, South America, Canada, everywhere. So I started in a cold calling sales role. I used to call. My job was to refill showcases of jewelry that are being sold out. But having spent a decade over here, I got a chance to kind of move through the different departments. I worked in sales, I worked in marketing, I worked in vendor management. But the most important thing that I saw, and this is, I'm talking 2009 till 2018-19, which was the time where brands were still transforming and kind of coming on to that digital transformation, which, as you know, later got accelerated post-COVID. Also, the landscape completely changed because even brands were a little struggling to kind of make that shift. But I got a chance to see that on the ground, working with a lot of retailers who were killing it offline, who were doing great business offline in their stores, but they wanted to sell online. And that time Instagram was a different space as well. It was easier to get your content out. It was not as saturated
As algorithmic.
I mean, it was always algorithmic, but I think even they learned over the period of time. So I got a very early, how do I say, like a front row seat to see that digital transformation happen. And that is when I realized, when the time came, we moved back to India, me and my family, we moved back to India after spending a decade in the US. So when the time came to start my business, I saw that a standard web development agency or a standard marketing agency does not understand the nuances of jewelry. Like, jewelry requires a lot of trust, and as we know, it has always been clear, jewelry is a high touch, emotional, touch and feel, see quality, see certification, make sure you know about the making charges. You have a lot of jewelers were not being able to translate that trust online. While if you walk into their showroom, whether it is in Karol Bagh or whether it is in Jaipur, you walk in, they will do everything right the way it should be done. They are like master salespeople who exactly know what to show, when to show, and how to do it. But somehow I thought that there was a gap, that trust was not being translated online, where a person behind the screen could feel that same level of connection. So I decided to start Jewelers League. It's been a journey. In fact, I started with doing collateral, and I used to create marketing collaterals like light boxes, billboards, posters, and everything for the jewelry industry itself. That was a part I had in my previous job, and I enjoyed doing it. So I started there, and COVID happened, and then there was suddenly no need for any collateral. So then I kind of pivoted and focused more on the online journey. So now it has been 6 years. I focus exclusively working with jewelry brands and luxury houses. That's what I enjoy most. And here I am, like 6 years later, just helping brands transform, sell better online, and be discovered organically through SEO, Google search, or whatever the latest generative search engine is.
So, two things from your journey, which I want to ask about is, firstly, why jewelry? Is it because you had a previous experience in the industry, or something resonated about the industry and you just wanted to stick to it and not expand? Because you can provide the same for a lot of other industries as well.
I'll give you two reasons for it. A, it felt comfortable, it felt challenging. Comfortable because I'd done it for 10 years. Challenging because it was still a niche that not everybody was doing, and it kind of needed that specialized knowledge, which I feel I had gained over 10 years. So I kind of wanted to explore that more and see what I could do more. Secondly, it also kind of somewhere became like, how it becomes like your mother tongue, and like you think in your mother tongue.
Yeah.
So even when I saw another product, right, I would apply some of the things that I had seen, or some of the things that my mentors in the industry would have taught me and said, this is how you sell it. I would see every product. I would be like, you know what? I would refer back to the knowledge I got from my jewelry industry on ground and then decide how to sell this. So I was like, I understand it. I was good at it for 10 years. So I decided to stick in that industry, and I'm glad that thankfully things have been good.
Nice. So the second thing is, doesn't it surprise you that today digital is the norm? Whether you are a retail space brand, whether you are a B2B brand, whatever it is, your digital presence, having a website, मतलब अगर you don't have this, then you're already 10 years behind or maybe more. But does it still surprise you that there are so many jewelers in India who still don't have a website, और website है तो वो 2005 2008 में बनाया हुआ है, वो as it is पड़ा हुआ है कि नहीं इसमें से कुछ business आता नहीं है. Like that mindset is surprisingly still there. Like, what is your thoughts on that? Like, why is it so?
See, we've all heard it before. If you're not digital, if you're not online, you pretty much don't exist unless a brand, right? I see it the same way. You remember there was a time when we had yellow pages and we used to call stores to find out their store hours. And then Google came in and that changed. We never call a store to find out the hours. The first point is to go Google and search and see the business hours on a Google listing. I feel that's where the digital transformation started, where people were starting it. Jewelry industry is so traditional and so deep-rooted that they have kind of been slow adapters of the technology. But in today's day and age, even if the sale is not happening online, I feel like you need a presence. It's very similar to social media, right? People go and check out the brand. If I see a billboard or if I find or hear a new brand, like yesterday I was at IIJS talking to some people and they gave me some names and I was like, well, it's very curious. I've never seen this brand, never heard this brand. My first instinct was to go online and see their social media presence. And if that looked appealing, I would follow them. I would go on to the website. I would see the products. Maybe my buying intention is not even there. I don't even know if I want to buy that product. But that's the way I see whether that business is going to go past my awareness stage to something else, or is it just something that exists? So I feel it's become mandatory right now. What do you think? What is your view? I mean, you've been...
It is definitely. We've been trying to push at least the student community, alumni community out here. We've been taking master classes, we've been taking those virtual mastermind sessions and all, like trying to get out there and tell them that you're 10 years behind, like literally. In fact, now if you don't adapt AI, you will be decades behind.
Yeah.
So it's like we are really pushing and we see it, but still, like at a grassroots level, I still see that people are not as adaptive. They still are stuck in that retail mindset कि गद्दी में बैठ के बेचो, जो आ रहा है वो बेचो. Like, you know, the word of mouth वाला mindset is still there. Like, people need to go out of that comfort zone and look elsewhere, that, you know, now you can sell to a US, to a UK,
Right.
sitting in your showroom in, say, you know, Kanpur or, you know, Guwahati. It's still possible. But people don't realize that opportunity. But it's changing. It's definitely changing. COVID helped in bringing that out, you know, accelerating that.
Yeah.
But still far off, I feel.
Yeah. But like you've taught like thousands, I think maybe hundreds of thousands of students who have gone through the institute. The new generation who's taking over the reins of the businesses now, don't you think they're already pro-digital when they come in? Like most of the conversations that I have, even if it's a heritage generational business, the new generation entering the business and taking over kind of have their sights right and they want to win on digital because they already understand the limitations of the traditional way of doing business. So I see that landscape changing, and like with the Gen Z and the Alpha coming in, I'm very excited to see where this industry goes with the changes they bring in.
Here what I feel is some of the people who have had a different exposure, like a lot of today's Gen Zs and all are going outside their, you know, say village or small town for education. They're getting a different city, you know, atmosphere, different educational background. Those people are extremely curious and they are really adapting these things much, much faster.
Okay.
So that upbringing is also mattering, where a lot of people, like, you know, typically the jewelry community is dominated by, say, the Gujus, Marwadis, gems and jewelry industry as such. So a lot of their exposure is like from school days only they are sitting in the shop.
Yeah.
School karo, college karo, but uske baad
दुकान पे बैठो. हाँ.
So those people I feel are taking those traditional routes and not able to adapt. However, that's not a wrong thing. I completely, you know, push that, encourage that. No, you should have that business touch, But at the same time, you should look outside for inspiration, for motivation, see what the world has to offer, and start adapting that into your business. So that I feel is there. However, as you said, it's changing drastically. I would say probably 60-70% of them are
Yeah.
adapting, but that 20-30% still need to do that. Otherwise, they'll get filtered out.
I feel there's also a lot of pressure. I mean, it may not be the exact correct word to say it, but the jewelry nepo babies, I feel,
Yeah.
are
I totally agree.
are
I get the point.
are privileged. They like you are heritage jeweler, right? You took a different path. You could have built a jewelry business, but you found a gap in the market where you realized that classroom education is very different from what is required in the world, and you formed your own path. So I find that very interesting that the new force is changing the rules of the game now. It's not like most of the recent successes that we've seen in the 5-10 years have been tech forward, have been modern shopping experiences. They are like more aggressive, for to call it such, in the way that they are doing business. And I feel like businesses are adapting. They now at least the post-COVID people know that it is important. They may have the self-realization that probably their online presence isn't where they want it to be. But I feel the biggest change that has come is that at least people realize that it is necessary and stop treating their website like a business card कि बस है एक कुछ बनाया हुआ है 5-7 साल पहले किसी ने बनाया था. So yeah, I think change is coming big time.
Yeah. In fact, just somewhere recently I read an article about the Carrot Lane management saying that 60-70% of their sales is facilitated by online. Like that literally shows the possibility, right? Like Carrot Lane is a 3,500 crore turnover company, and them saying 60-70% means that's a huge figure that facilitates sales. So I think that hearing these things, I think a lot of that generation is getting inspired and opening up their horizons. Like, okay, this is not the North Star, that is the North Star. So I think that's...
It definitely facilitates, right? Carrot Lane, Tanishq, I feel they have the advantage where the physical store becomes one of the touch points in the journey, where I have done my research, I've done my selection, then I maybe want to go and see the piece. I want to touch it, I want to feel it, I want to wear it, I want to see how it feels. I may buy over there if I'm not convinced, but even if I don't, I can still come back and buy it online, because now that trust has been delivered. Now I'm ready to buy. So it makes complete sense that a huge portion of their business should and would come from online.
So coming back to the very first question I asked you was, say somebody who's wanting to start their digital journey, start an e-commerce store, or even a traditional jeweler not having a website presence, or maybe having a very static website presence but wants to start a store. So how do they start? Like, for example, what I'm trying to ask is, everybody first thinks of Shopify. So what is your perspective? Is Shopify the best route, or there are alternatives, or does it depend on case-to-case basis?
I think Shopify is the gold standard of e-commerce. And I'll tell you why. Because I have pretty much worked with every platform that exists out there, from Wix to WordPress, Squarespace, Equate, some of the other ones as well. Shopify has spent billions mastering one thing only, which is e-commerce. Like all of these other platforms, Wix, Squarespace, they're all good. They are all capable. But they also serve artists. They also serve service businesses. They also serve consultancies. And e-commerce, or the shop module, is exactly that. It's an add-on module on the website. It's not the core of the platform. Whereas Shopify is completely built around selling online. So if you know, Shopify now also offers headless Shopify stores, which are basically, you can still have like a front-facing platform on a WordPress or another Magento kind of platform, and have the product and the variant management and everything and the fulfillment happening through Shopify. So to answer simply, yes, Shopify definitely is the gold standard. In terms of pricing, I feel it's most competitive. Even if you are like start at a 2,000 rupee per month Shopify basic plan, your WordPress developer is not going to be able to offer you same level of PCI compliance and security and everything which comes in built into Shopify. Shopify offers you
Can I interrupt you?
Yeah, sure.
A lot of people may not know what is PCI compliance.
So basically your transactions, right? Okay, let me put it very simply. PCI compliance, SSL, they all, it's like secure learning layers, everything, are all modules and layers built into the online world. We've all heard about hacking and scamming and identity theft and data protection. So all of these features and layers that Shopify has built in, which protects both the business's data as well as the customer data. Like, of course, we have rules, but if you are somebody who is exporting online and you're selling to customers all over the world, there are very stringent data laws that you have to protect, and you are literally collecting credit card informations and you're collecting personal addresses and personal phone numbers and stuff. A WordPress developer may not be able to offer you the same level of competence when it comes to your own security as well. Talk about something as simple as fraud protection. Like Shopify flags off orders when it thinks that it is coming from a bot server, or if it is coming from somebody who kind of is known to do chargebacks on credit cards. So in that standard, I feel Shopify is the gold standard because it gives you an all-in-one package which allows you to sell online. The way I look at it, one of my analogies that I always explain when people come up to me and say, should I go to Shopify or should I go to something else? I'm like, consider Shopify as your iPhone and WordPress as your Android, right? That is open source. You can do whatever you can imagine. Whereas on Shopify, you have limitations. They may only allow you to customize certain bits. But if you think about performance, like, it meets 80% of the needs that most people are ever going to have. And if you fall in that 20% who's building something groundbreaking or something that is outside of their ecosystem, then I'm guessing you have advanced knowledge, advanced team, advanced resources to build that on that platform. So yeah, I guess that's my whole thing. I'm like, do you want something which does 80% out of the box in a fairly intuitive, easy to learn manner? There's also other things, Naman, right? You can custom build websites, you can try new platforms, whether it's AI, whether it's another. GoDaddy also offers website host builder. You think about marketplace, right? New businesses don't have an in-house marketing team. They don't have like a web developer sitting in their office. True. It is much easier to find a Shopify expert who can make the customizations or fix something when it's broken rather than a platform. The only other option, like especially from an Indian jeweler, is like Dukaan hai, Insta, Mojo. वैसे there are limited like Indian specific platforms which allow you to do trade online, which are great if you're starting out. But I think if you sell high value goods and you need custom checkout process, or the minute you want to go international and start selling, you're going to hit a roadblock. So to summarize the long answer, I think Shopify is the best bet for somebody who does not want to stop making jewelry and like spend their days and nights deciding website. I think it just makes it easier.
So you're saying that somebody can even start, without an expert, to at least start off using Shopify, their starter plan, and then as and when they get stuck or when they want to scale, they can get a Shopify expert and
absolutely.
get going.
If you know, Shopify is a new development. Shopify has a new set of themes that they just launched, I think about a month, 6 weeks ago. It's called the Horizon set of themes. Brilliant.
Yes.
Brilliant. We used to spend $300, $400 for client stores to get all of those features and functionalities. It is completely free. It has an AI builder built into it. You can literally say, this is the section I want to build, and it is going to build it for you. So I'm like, why would somebody not take advantage of that? And most of the people, like I said, they are educated. They've gone through like several roles where they have done some parts and they have the understanding. So I feel businesses need that independence, solopreneurs, startups, to operate on a lean team and be able to do some of these things which have kind of been held back, or there's like a mafia going around in web development agency also. Keh rahe nahi, aap haath mat lagana, code toot jayega, kuch break ho jayega. Like, why? Kya hai? Website hi hai ultimately. So yeah, I'm a Shopify partner, obviously, so I have a little bit bias towards Shopify, but there is a reason, because I feel कि मुझे कुछ और करने की जरूरत नहीं है. That serves all my needs.
One-stop
solution. It's a one-place solution. I'm like, it's like buying iPhone 16. मैंने खरीद लिया, वो मोस्टली सब कुछ कर देगा जो मुझे चाहिए.
So which are your best features of Shopify?
See, अब तो with this new theme, so a lot of these features have come into mainstream, but I think product photography zoom is one which is kind of a no-brainer for jewelry, right? How do you show your craftsmanship? How do you show the intricate work, or whether the band or the back is shallow or whether it is hollow, or how do you show that? So I feel like the product photography zoom is a no-brainer that you must have. Vertical video integration, I'm really loving a lot of apps that are doing vertical video integration because it gives your content more space to breathe. You're not just relying on Instagram. You're able to bring in that same interactive, fun vibe to your website. So I would think that is definitely important. Standard features like customer reviews, testimonials, way to showcase and build trust. I feel upselling features. I mean, if you're looking for a theme, or if it doesn't have themes which allow you to upsell on the product page, allow you to upsell on the cart, I'm always looking out for good apps.
Yeah. Increase the conversions.
Increase conversions. Like the whole game is increase your average order value. How does a 500 rupee order become a 800 rupee order is the whole thing, right? So I love custom product builder apps because it allows you to really give customers that ability to personalize the product. And I feel it is more important in jewelry than anything else, whether it is a small thing like changing the birthstone or the gemstone as per your Rashi, or it is to engrave a name or the engrave an important date or something. So I feel like those personalization apps, I love those integrations, which again, Shopify Marketplace has plenty of those. So yeah.
So when somebody comes to you, when a prospect comes to you, what are some of the funniest or the most, what do you say, gullible things that jewelers think that you can solve? A lot of people come with misconceptions, different perceptions that ye ho jayega, online se ye ho jayega, we can do it. So all kind of the mistakes that they come with, okay, how this is how we're going to start. You have any such incidents to share?
So I have my top 3 or 5 mistakes as I go that I see week on week, right? Like for people who are just coming online, kahin na kahin there is that myth that if I'm online, things are going to start selling. I think that differentiation ki bhai, this is a platform versus marketing versus actual sales is different. Ki bhai, building banana एक चीज है. Like you build a beautiful house, but that doesn't mean that people are going to start coming to your place. You have to do your marketing. You have to do your SEO foundation. You have to be found for people who build it and they will come. Wala zamana chale gaya hai. That's not going to happen. I think that's going to be my number one. The second thing which you touched upon earlier, I often see new jewelry brands starting of business ideas or thinking of with the website first approach. Which I feel is very wrong. Like you have to, the thing we touched upon, your story, your brand story comes first, and then your website just translates and says that in a better way. Another thing I often see is uploading like 3,000 products on day one. I feel that's a huge mistake that a lot of jewelry brands make, where they think if I put everything up, kuch na kuch to bikega. That I feel is a very...
So what is the ideal approach?
I would say it depends on your market type. Say if you're daily wear or fashion wear, I would say 30 to 50 SKUs are more than enough for you to start with, right? Across different pages. You don't want to seem too sparse, ki product hai hi nahi. You don't want to seem too overwhelming and anxiety, because you're not, even if you compare with Tanishq, right? Tanishq, I've checked Tanishq across 14 karat, 18 karat, 22 karat, right? They have about 300 to 400 products in every category, whether a bangle pakad lo, finger rings pakad lo, jo bhi pakad lo. They must have thousands of SKUs, but they have curated a collection which they want to show online. So I would say daily or fashion, 30 to 50 items. If you're bridal, for example, if you're selling bridal high engagement pieces, 10 to 15 pieces is good enough too, because then every piece gets to be the hero of the show. It's like I see it as a Marvel Avengers का film ना, 15 है लेकिन सबकी अपनी अपनी story है, as opposed to trying to have 3,000 and not have a story at all for anything and saying ये 5 carat का, ये 10 carat का है. It's better कि you have less products which you can fully build on and It's especially with high value. People care about origin, people care about quality, people care about gemstone है तो inclusion क्या है, diamond है तो quality क्या है. So starting small and curated allows you to tell your story better. And then obviously 1 to 3 months, I would say 3 to 6 months, you add another 20-50 SKUs, see where it goes. 7 months plus, the data dictates. If you do everything, earrings, rings and necklaces, and earrings is 60% of your business, it's a no-brainer at that point that you need to focus on earrings, or you need to kind of pivot your marketing towards your bread and butter. But yeah, that's definitely one of the biggest mistakes. And then the fourth one, I would say, is bad photography. People probably still don't realize. And it doesn't always mean high-end model photo shoot, like a regular Android phone against a natural light window will also create good pictures. And not just white background studio shots. People need to see it being worn. I need to see scale. So put it next to a coin, put it next to a cup, put it on a mannequin, put it around the neck. I need to know how it's going to be, because white shot mein to everything looks same. Like a pinky ring is going to look the same thing as a huge signet ring, right? Koi farak nahi hai. And then fifth one I'm seeing lately, last 18 months, I have to say, AI written descriptions. Horrible.
True.
Horrible. Absolute business killer, because every description sounds just the same. It starts with elegant, unleash, unlock, empower. Like, it has those mid-sentence hyphens. You look at it and
it just doesn't feel raw.
Yeah.
Like, अंदर से आया वैसा नहीं लगता. It is very like
you look,
cliche.
even if you're not an AI expert, you look at it, sometimes it's like तुम सब पढ़ लेते हो, सब अच्छा भी लिखा है, ग्रामर भी सही है, but it's like somewhere it's like that 3 idiots meme ना, कि अरे भाई कहना क्या चाहते हो, मैंने इतना पूरा पैराग्राफ पढ़ा लेकिन I don't understand what you're trying to say. And if it doesn't hit a note with me, I'm just going to scroll past. So I would say those are pretty much the things I see over and over again every single week. कहीं ना कहीं से इनमें से एक तो true हो ही जाता है, and we are like
So you mentioned about the website story. You need to have your story first before you just randomly come out with a website. But isn't it too challenging for a jeweler, to start off, say for a startup or for a traditional jeweler, to build that story? Generally what they think is, this is what is coming to me a lot of times, is कि पहले चालू कर देते, फिर हम थोड़ा ऑर्डर आ जाएगा, फिर हम देख लेंगे क्या स्टोरी बनाना है. So I get this a lot. कि थोड़ा पहले स्टार्ट कर लेते हैं, हम थोड़ा स्केल पे आ जाए, हमें पता चले कि क्या चल रहा है, versus start and put that effort right now on day 0, what your brand story is, what your brand ethos are, and gradually find your vibe. What is your take on that?
Not having the story right is going to put you in the same bucket as 100 other customers. You say कि मैं बाद में develop कर लूँगा. Unless you have a very unique proprietary product जो आप लेके आ रहे हो, उसके अलावा what is it? I mean, if I talk about engagement rings, what is new in engagement rings except oval, emerald, timeless solitaire, 3 stone? क्या नया आया है last 50 साल में? Or what do you think is going to come? Nothing. It's the same thing. It's the story that sells. How do you talk about it? How do you present, and what do you make them feel? So if you say कि मैं डालता हूँ बाद में करूँगा, that doesn't work. And the biggest problem is most people either lose the motivation because they don't get the sales, or they get burnt out by trying performance marketing or boosting their ads and not getting followers. And then फिर वो drive ही खत्म हो जाती है. उनको लगता है कि online is not for me, which is not the case.
Which is what is happening most of the time.
It is happening a lot. It is a very sad thing. It is happening a lot. But that is not the thing. You started on the wrong way. Like I said, ना, अगर आप बिना सीखे गाड़ी चलाओगे और एक्सीडेंट हो जाएगा, फिर बोलोगे मैं जिंदगी भर गाड़ी नहीं चलाऊंगा बिकॉज मेरे से चलती नहीं है. लाइक बट आपने सीखा ही नहीं कैसे करना है. सो यू कैन बी स्लो. दैट्स द रीजन आई सेड डोंट स्टार्ट विद 3000 प्रोडक्ट्स एट फर्स्ट डे ना. स्टार्ट विद 20 प्रोडक्ट्स. Learn. You will learn more. You will know exactly what to do, what not to do. Focus on making SEO करना है 20 प्रोडक्ट्स पे करो. वेबसाइट SEO करना है 5 पेज पे करो. Instead of opening like the biggest and trying to compete with CaratLane and Tanish toe to toe on day 1, start smaller, learn. It can be enhanced. You don't have to have all the answers figured out on day 1. But कहीं तो पता होना चाहिए कि why are you doing it? मैं किसको बेच रहा हूँ.
True, very true. Very, very well put.
Thank you.
So basically, like it's like story तो होनी चाहिए. Day 1 से story तो होनी चाहिए. You can iterate that story as you move forward, as you learn, as you
Absolutely.
grow. But you have to start with something. You have to start with a proper storytelling.
It's your why, no? वो जो framework है ना, there is what, when, how, where. वो सब तो आपको कंसल्टेंट बता देगा, चैट जीपीटी बता देगा, 2-4 ब्लॉग यूट्यूब वीडियोस बता देंगे आपको. Your why only you can answer. If somebody who's been doing crores of business offline, right, and is established in the bridal market, if they want to go online, there is a why. What is their why? Because they have probably created the necklace that Katrina or Kiara Advani wore at their wedding, and they got a lot of media traction on their one post, which made them realize कि अरे I can also reach other affluent brides, or they have aspirations कि भाई I want to be the designer कि भाई अंबानी की wedding में maybe एक jewelry piece मेरे store से गया हो, right? Maybe that is your why. Maybe your why is कि I want
ये
jewelry.
अंबानी का वेडिंग है ना, मेरे हर एग्जाम्पल पे आ जाता है.
I mean, it is the biggest event that has happened in the country. You wouldn't believe. I've been speaking to jewelers in Malta and jewelers in Italy, and it still comes up because they also tried to get into the space where they wanted to be at least somewhere apart. But they had a very rigorous process, and they have been working with. But yeah, like it's not just India. Over the world, jewelry businesses and luxury houses have been trying to get into their books and on their radar. So yeah, it's not surprising.
So you made a point about bad photography, and also being worn by somebody that makes it more appealing. Also, it makes it more relevant. People come to know the size, how it look. AI can be used in these now today.
To some extent, you still need a good hero shot.
Yeah.
You can iterate. आप मिड जर्नी से iterate कर सकते हो कि अब इस हीरो शॉट को मॉडल पे डाल दो, इस हीरो शॉट को एंगल्स में दिखाओ, इसको स्केल से दिखाओ. बट यू विल स्टिल बेसिकली एक हीरो शॉट तो आपको जनरेट करना ही पड़ेगा. आई मीन लाइक आई सी अ लॉट ऑफ बिजनेसेस मेकिंग द मिस्टेक ऑफ doing CAD renders. उसमें से you kind of create a product and then you kind of create a 200 product catalog. You don't have a single piece in inventory. Right? I don't get that real feeling. Like I said it on Instagram once on my page where I said like white background is for toilet paper. It's not for jewelry. I don't feel anything. You've stripped away all of the emotions. I see a woman's hand with a statement ring holding a glass of wine. I relate. I see myself in this scenario. To the next cocktail party or to the next event, I want mere haath ki ring should look like that. You show the same ring to me on a white background, I will say yeah, it's pretty, but it's not going to stir up the same emotion. ये कैसी लगेगी वहाँ पे, ये कैसी लगेगी.
One more thing, based on your conversation, you are taking examples of diamonds and gemstones and say birthstone के हिसाब से चाहिए ना. Have you seen a particular category doing well online? Like, because today jewelry, when we speak, jewelry is in itself become a vast industry, like a crazy vast industry. There is fashion jewelry, there is demi-fine jewelry, there is diamond jewelry, there is gold jewelry doesn't work as much online because of the margins and all, I feel.
Right.
But so many other categories, silver jewelry, diamond jewelry in 14 karat, 18 karat. Based on your customer experiences, is there a category that really stands out?
I think silver jewelry has been phenomenal in the last few years. Gold prices going up definitely help it better because kahin na kahin jo ek, I remember my growing up years, silver was considered as like the cheaper alternative. If you can't do gold and if you wanted to buy something on Dhanteras, you'd still buy a precious metal, but it didn't. But that has changed in the last 5 years. Silver has become a very acceptable, investable metal to get. So lightweight gold jewelry, I would say 15 to 40,000 की range में I think is doing very well online.
But studded, right?
Yeah. Studded. Though not heavy gold designs. Like if you're talking about temple jewelry and stuff, because उनका audience ही इतना traditional and they kind of slightly older audience who wants to go to the store. They don't want to buy online. So like studded jewelry. Men's jewelry has been doing extremely well. Bracelets, chains, rings, men's jewelry, and men research online. They spend a lot of time researching and they don't need as many options. I've bought like bracelets. When I've come across an interesting brand, I just make a purchase. I just make a purchase just for the journey, just to see कि कायसा होता है, where does it fall off, where do I lose my interest.
But that's an interesting insight. Men's jewelry online is...
Men's jewelry online has been doing very well in the last 2 years. I know so many brands who've kind of built a good, profitable revenue stream selling different kinds of men's jewelry. Mangal Sutras have been very popular. They have been surging, especially for NRI audiences. Diamond Mangal Sutras have been doing extremely well. And there's a very new niche that I've just noticed is like spiritual divinity jewelry is doing very well. Now, whether that is, again,
The healing.
tied into gemstones, whether it is tied into feel-good affirmations, yeah, thing.
Evil eye and all.
Evil eye, whether it is charm-based,
Yeah.
I feel has been doing really well. So I think in the last 3-5 years, since this landscape has been changing, I think these 4 or 5 categories really, really stand out as performing very well.
Very interesting. And so, when we talk about these categories, as you said, like silver jewelry under 5K, but basic research that I was doing is when you are going digital, when you're going the e-commerce route, the cost of bringing the customer in is usually more than the first sale,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
So the entire game becomes about retention, about how you get that person back and how you are nurturing that person through your funnels.
Right.
So can you throw some light upon that aspect? Firstly, what is approximately the CAC, which is the cost per acquisition? So if for those who don't know what is cost per acquisition, it's the amount of ad spend that you are doing to get that first sale, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah,
right?
you're right.
So can you throw some light on that? Like category wise, what do you see the CAC as?
See, I feel at Jewelers League, we don't offer performance marketing yet.
Okay.
Right? Also, fundamentally, I am a very organic search. Optimization is always my preference because I always think, paid ads is the accelerator. It's not the engine.
Yeah,
if
it's
your
for the
organic is
quick
not
growth.
right, nothing is going to work.
True.
Nothing is going to work. So having said that, having put that disclaimer out, CACs, I feel daily fashion wear under 5,000 product mein 300 to 800 rupees is a decent amount. Okay. Slightly higher demi-fine jewelry, I think 1,500 to 3,000 ranges we have seen. And then as you go into luxury, it's common to see it with 3,000 to 6,000 rupees per customer. Cost is kind of the average spectrum, that if you're playing within this spectrum, you're not too bad.
But this is very challenging, according to me, to play in this spectrum.
But see, I look at what you said earlier, retention. I don't look at CAC as a standalone metric. It means
of course.
nothing.
Of course.
The lifetime value, the LTV of that customer is where you get to make your money. So if you're selling a 2,500 rupee silver design, right? A 3 to 800 rupee CAC on that first acquisition is going to be a killer. It's going to eat into your margins. You're practically not making money. But at what point do you say you have retained the customer? Jewelry is not a purchase frequency. Jewelry मैंने आज खरीदी, I'm not going to buy some jewelry again in 3 months from the same vendor. Working women who are buying silver jewelry are buying jewelry every month, but they're not buying it. So after like several data points and analysis, we've identified that if you can get a customer to buy second time in 18 months, you've retained the customer. Then you've done the right things, and that's when I hope that they've come to you organically because something about that made you. But again, it's a LTV game, I feel, more than the CAC game. How do you make your post-purchase experience, your purchase experience, your unboxing so good that one-time customer turns into a loyal brand customer who can buy for gifting or who can recommend it to somebody else. That's where, and like I said, paid ads is just, you have to kind of raise awareness, bring them. And that is where also somewhere your good online presence comes in. You think about it now, average conversion in the industry, jewelry industry, is 1.46% across segments.
Yeah.
You provide them a better experience. You raise your conversion levels to 2%. Or if you can make it stellar, raise it to 3%. That CAC is not going to hurt you anymore because you're converting more people. अभी 100 में से 1 खरीदेगा, 100 में से 3 खरीदेंगे, फर्क तो पड़ेगा.
Big difference.
So then you'll be like, as long as it's bringing money. So I feel it's a very misunderstood, isolated term कि लोग उसी को रहते हैं. But I'm like, You've acquired a customer, and we all know it's.
But so I'll tell you why I'm asking. So firstly, obviously, the point you made was you have to have a strong organic presence. Only then you move towards thinking at maybe for growth purpose you can use ad spends, but without organic, none of it is going to matter. Why am I asking this is because the typical banya buddhi, the jeweler that they are thinking is कि we want profit from first sale. And one of the reasons is they never think long term. They never think of this customer retention, though they are doing it practically in their retail store. But when it comes to online, they don't have that horizon that okay, this fellow will come to me. आया तो आया नहीं आया तो पता नहीं तो इतना खर्चा क्यों करना है पहले से. So that mindset is always there. So what I am deciphering from what you just said was कि push organic first. Be a master at it for sure, for at least the limited SKUs that you think are really going to work well. Get that rolling, and then side by side you start experimenting with ads.
Absolutely. See, I feel one thing I'll add to that, what you just said, which was a very interesting point. The standard user journey, somewhere I feel, and this may not be specific to jewelry only, this is kind of a larger problem with the entire e-commerce space. Most businesses, and especially those who are relying heavily on performance marketing, think the journey ends at purchase, but it doesn't. The retention and the repeat is going to come from your post-purchase, not your purchase. Like I have bought so many things of Instagram ads because मुझे एक बार ad दिख गया, it meets a need at that time, it looks fancy, it's trending, I've seen it somewhere and I want it then. Ask me about that brand name after 6 months, I probably won't remember कि मैंने कहाँ से खरीदा था. I won't. I'll just know कि मैंने Instagram से खरीदा था. I'll be like Instagram. That's.
I mean, the moat has to be retention.
But if there is a post-purchase sequence, say somebody bought a Mangal Sutra and you collected their anniversary date, or somebody bought a gift and you probably collected a birth date, or somebody bought something like kids jewelry के उनके बाद, and you send a reminder, you send a post-purchase sequence अगर आपका set है. Silver jewelry भी है तो have you sent care instructions of how to repolish your jewelry, how to take care of your jewelry, or offer repolishing services after 6 months? From a purchase date, an email gets triggered out after 6 or 8 months. Maybe offering free repolishing, maybe offering it at a very small price. That customer is at least going to remember you. Let's say even if 20-30% of your existing customers come back for a free service, there is a very good chance that they might at least see and be aware of the new things you have done into 6 to 8 months, as opposed to saying कि भाई it's the same banya buddhi happening. Like दुकान में आया, पैसा दिया और चला गया, मतलब काम खत्म हो गया. वहाँ काम खत्म नहीं होता है, वहाँ काम शुरू होता है आपका, because now you have to make sure that he comes back to you.
Yes. That building that trust has to happen through your nurturing and your funnel. True, very true. So that is one of the pain points I feel for these jewelers, is because they don't understand the workflows, or now maybe through our conversation they will understand that okay, after the sale somewhere they need to create that workflow के ये sale के बाद ये जाना चाहिए, ये एक message उनको जाना चाहिए thanking them for the experience, एक message जाना चाहिए for the warranty or the service that they are going to offer. Anniversary messages also we tell our students, don't send it to the customer, send it to the spouse of the customer. So those kind of things, once they have set it in the workflow, I'm sure there are tools to automate those aspects, so they don't have to put somebody to start doing that, look at the data, किसका birthday है, वो सब करने की जरूरत नहीं है. एक बार हो गया, feed in हो गया, it can be automated.
No, but I would like to say to most of your viewers and most of people who are probably going to see this video, yes, I am very pro automation. I absolutely want things to be automated, but I don't think automation should be a reason that you don't do it. अगर आपके पास नहीं है, if you don't have the tech skill or the resources,
do it manually.
A Google Sheet works just fine.
Absolutely.
Unless you are bringing in 1,000 orders every day and collecting 1,000 birth dates every day, then to obviously you have the resources to hire a person who can automate the whole flow. But you have a number. WhatsApp marketing is the best remarketing ever. You can send a WhatsApp broadcast. अगर दिवाली आ रही है, send 45 days before, create a Diwali Dhanteras buying guide on Canva, send it to your WhatsApp broadcast, right? 30 days pehle send your curation of 12 to 15 products saying what is trending this Diwali. 15 din pehle send a last date reminder कि Diwali. So doing some of these nurturing things are not that hard, but somewhere I feel कि वो हम automate करेंगे जब हम successful हो जाएंगे. Doesn't work. Successful brands got there because they did this. They didn't do this after they become successful.
Right.
That's the difference, I feel.
True. Something just popped up my head right now is we spoke about the categories, right? So silver, demi-fine, diamond jewelry, lightweight jewelry. Have you seen any loose gemstones or loose diamond brands do well on Shopify or anywhere like at an e-commerce?
Not really. Unless you are very good with your certificates, you have like an electronic data setup systems with the world's best diamond houses, and maybe on the B2B side.
No, B2C is what I'm asking.
No. Again, see, your target audience is very different. Somebody who's going to buy a rare diamond or somebody who's going to buy a rare gemstone is a collector. They want a different experience. A fancy website is not going to fool them because they've spent a lot of money on jewelry. It's not their first purchase.
Yeah.
And again, somewhere होता है ना legacy houses jewelry. I feel like a family jeweler India में तो खास होता है. If you won the trust of your customer and you've become their family jeweler, it's like your family doctor. वो generations वहीं आएगी. फिर कोई भी शादी हो वो आपके पास ही आएगी because वो trust आ गया है.
बराबर.
कि ये चीट नहीं करेंगे, मेकिंग चार्जेस में हो या क्वालिटी में हो या हॉल मार्किंग में हो, जिसमें भी वो चीट नहीं करेंगे. तो आई फील कि वो अगर वो ट्रेड हो भी रहा है B2C एलिमेंट में, तो एक तो इट्स कलेक्टर्स हु आर बेसिकली काइंड ऑफ बीन थ्रू सेवरल ट्रांजैक्शंस एंड हैव लॉट ऑफ ज्वेलरी एंड दे आर कलेक्टिंग फॉर inheritance, heirloom purposes. And plus they have like years of relationships to go by. So to build that online is a challenge. It's a struggle. I mean, I'm yet to see brands that can do it successfully. I'm sure they exist, but it's harder. It's definitely harder.
I've seen a couple of them in the colored stone space, but not so successful also. Everybody is at a mid level right now.
Well, you've seen. I'm very interested to know. I mean, you've seen all kinds of businesses, right? You see so many businesses. You have a great alumni. What is the reality check you feel with when your students graduate, go out, start their own jewelry businesses? What do you think is the reality check that they get, which needs to? And I know you've answered. I've seen your previous podcast episodes. Digital transformation has always been a subject. I think you're passionate about it yourself, so it always comes up in your conversations. What, in your opinion, I'm very interested, what in your opinion is the reality check that students get?
I think the biggest reality check for people who have a background is that they don't get to do what they want to do. With a family business background, they come with so much of momentum that, we are going to do this. They've got all this, So if you look at India's landscape, majority of Indian jewelers are typically commoditized. Like they're running a gold business, gold jewelry business, or a metal business, basically gold and silver jewelry business. There's less of studded. Now they're rising to the fact that, studded has profitability, and that is why they need to start diversifying their in-store experience and start keeping so that they can attract a more premium audience. But when these guys go into and join their business, they just realize कि पापा ने तो बिठा दिया, तुझे कुछ नहीं आता है, पहले तू कुछ कर ढंग का कर. I think that is the biggest reality check that they get. They are coming with so much momentum, and then they realize that it's not going to happen in 2-3 months. It's not going to happen in 6 months. It's going to probably take them a year, 2 years, 3 years to get that transformation.
Right.
So that is, I feel, one of the things that I have seen, and they keep coming back to me. And what do I do now? Like, this is, I'm not getting to do what I wanted to. And then I have to explain them that, look, just the way you are their baby, that business is their baby. It's not, they're not going to just give it to you. So that's one of the things I always tell them, the one thing that the earlier generation does not understand is marketing. So marketing, website, digital site. And that is why I'm so passionate about this. Because I'm literally, on a daily basis, they are coming to me and asking for this. So they don't understand that. So you take that up. They're not going to say anything. You take it low cost. It's okay. You don't hire any fancy person right now. You get your hands dirty. Do the ground level work. Anyway, they don't know what you're doing.
Correct.
So you will figure it out. So it's something that you're taking outside the business.
Right.
Completely transforming and then integrating it into the business and wait for the results to come. then they will be like, okay, बच्चे में दम है, तो अभी तू ये भी कर.
Right, makes sense.
So that is one of the things that I have seen over the past decade, and it keeps on repeating for some reason, because earlier generation was about websites and all. Now I'm seeing a lot of Gen Zs and all who are like, how do we integrate AI into our inventory management? And now that this is the demand, now we are seeing a few apps, with inventory management softwares coming with their AI ki chalo prompt.
Yeah.
Just prompt that which is the fastest selling item and you will get it. So those things are just now happening, that their fathers, parents are not really adapting.
Right.
So yeah.
That reminds me of a conversation I just had yesterday at IIJS. I mean, interestingly, you exactly described what I experienced yesterday. I met this guy. They're a company from Hyderabad. They do temple jewelry, heavy on gold. I spoke to this guy. He's just joined the business 2 weeks ago. He came back after studying in the US in Chicago, and he told me that he wanted to take things online. And I had the same moment. I'm like, you are going to get so much resistance from your family. You don't know. And again, the nature of the business, like we spoke, like heavy on gold, temple jewelry. Maybe if you set your eyes only on the Indian diaspora and selling to NRIs, yes, but selling it in India to somebody who's 55, 60 years old and buying, it's going to be an uphill battle. And fighting with the family and making them realize that the change is necessary, or you need to find your way of how to do it, is going to be the most challenging aspect. And not creating your website or not creating or a photo shoot is probably the least of the problems.
Yeah.
Making that change internally is going to be one of the biggest
But
things.
if I have to digress a little bit from the e-commerce topic, is, temple jewelry as a segment in itself is going through huge transformation because of the way it's getting manufactured today. So there was a time when temple jewelry used to be those heavy sets with layer and then another layer and those things. Now you're seeing so much of evolution in the technology that is being used for casting, and how earlier it was handmade. Today everything is digitalized through CAD, and there are specific tools to just manufacture temple jewelry. So that entire temple jewelry is also moving towards a lightweight jewelry concept, where the inside it is hollow, and that so for any new person entering the business has to try and transform that end of it first before they go take that digital, because then you will find digital customers, because your price points will start coming down. So give me your best retention strategies, like top 3 that come to your mind. You already gave a few examples of how you can nurture. WhatsApp message kar lo. Itna tech, if you don't have tech, you can just, use the Jugaad system. But anything else that you feel is relevant?
So again, I feel India mein especially, or any other markets where WhatsApp is huge. Like for example, WhatsApp is not that big in the US as a mode. Like, but Europe mein hai. If you consider Singapore has adopted WhatsApp, and if you go to any even luxury houses, your book your consultation or speak to a person, link is going to lead to you to a WhatsApp conversation. I feel both from a conversion and a retaining element, I think WhatsApp is one of your best tactic. If you have collected phone number, broadcast is free. API integration costs 1,000 rupees a month. It does not cost a lot, right? You can do broadcasts, you can do product offers, and education, not promotion, because they've already bought the product. If you just make a graphic on Canva and say, oh, $499 starting at $499 starting at 5,000 rupees. We are so tuned to recognize ads and promotions. Consumer today has recognized to spot that BS sales ad very quickly. So you have to, like I always speak about my content framework when I'm creating content for clients also, whether it's a blog post. I'm like, it has to hit one of those 3 pillars. Either it has to be educational, it has to be emotional, right? Or it has to be problem solving. If it doesn't meet one of these 3 criteria, it's fluff. It doesn't mean anything.
True.
So using that kind of content, right? Like I said, how to take care of your silver jewelry, how to repolish silver, right? How to carry your necklaces to your vacation without it getting tangled is an educational piece. There is almost every person who wears necklaces, chains, and travels with it has that problem. You answering that question is going to set you apart from the other people, whether you do it on WhatsApp, whether you do it on social media, whether you do it as a blog post or an email marketing, the channel doesn't matter. And if you're smart, if you want to work smart and not hard, you will write one blog post and then make 5 Instagram posts, 3 LinkedIn posts, and 2 WhatsApp broadcast out of the same
Yes,
content topic.
yes.
So I think WhatsApp is definitely number one.
And
on my
also what changes now is that what you put on Instagram is also part of the search results.
list. Exactly.
So I
So
think that's the
it
latest
brings into that
updated.
organic search. I mean, for all you know, you may not even, but if you've put out a post which says how to wear this earring 3 ways, or how to, like I said, travel with your necklaces or chains without it untangling, it will be found by the audience who's seeking that problem. And maybe it might be an informational search, not a commercial search at that point, but at least now your brand is in focus. At least they now look at you as an authority who says something meaningful rather than just trying to shove something down their throat and say, ye khareed lo. But yeah, WhatsApp I think is number one. Post-purchase sequences that I spoke about, whether it is birthday, anniversary reminders, referral programs work very great. I think if you send out emails a certain amount of time after your purchase saying refer to a friend and you both get a silver coin. But one thing, discount, no discount, gifts. Discount cheapens the brand. If you say you get 10% off discount,
Yeah.
I'm not interested because I'm not going to remember your coupon code and then find that coupon code and come back. But if you refer me to a friend, you both get silver coins. That enhances the brand. I've got something, I have more of a reason, or it could be a piece of jewelry. So I think that referrals
Something
work.
complimentary is what you're saying, like, something.
Something thoughtful and which seems like a gift, which makes the customer feel like a part of a community or a club. You're a part of a club, right? I've seen so many people say do loyalty points. I feel they don't work. Jewelry loyalty points don't work because I'm not buying jewelry to collect points. These are not air miles that I'm collecting. But yeah, tier-based benefits work. If you say lifetime value, you spend 1 lakh rupees or more with us, depending on the segment, obviously. You get maybe exclusive previews, or when my new collection drops, you get the first chance or at the drop before the whole world sees it, or some simple things. We did what one of my clients, we said, let's go back, pull out all of the clients who purchased from you on 2024, find those clients who follow you on Instagram and add them to your close friends group. And every week, post 1 or 2 things that is only available to that audience, not everybody else. Sales went up 40%. 40% because people want to belong to something. People want to feel like I've got something that the other person doesn't. So retention is, there's a lot of ways to do retention. I mean, obviously your regular retargeting. Customer who visited your exhibition, dropped a business card, you got their email. You can retarget to them for no reason. You can start warming them up to the brand even if they didn't buy anything at your booth. So yeah, I think that is very important to kind of make sure.
The data is so important because platforms may change, the ways of doing things may change, but
Exactly.
your data that you have control over, that's the most important aspect.
You can be as creative, you can be as by the book as you want, but the fact that you thought and that you reached out trumps over how you reached out. I mean, saying अगर आपके पास कुछ भी नहीं है, चलो WhatsApp API इंटीग्रेशन भी नहीं करना आपको. आपके पास एक इंटर्न है जो एवरी फ्राइडे बैठ के 20 मैसेज भेज सकता है ना टू योर बेस्ट कस्टमर्स सेइंग आई वाज जस्ट थिंकिंग अबाउट द परचेज यू मेड विद अस लास्ट मंथ. So many people have been asking about it, is sold out since then. See the results. I am 100% sure कि 100 में से 10 तो वापस आएंगे और बोलेंगे you know what, मुझे इसके लिए गिफ्ट चाहिए.
That is where the problem is. People, like so many jewelers I've spoken to, they don't know who their best 20 customers are.
That is true.
Like they have the data on contact list. Or जो one person, the owner,
has it in their
head.
Yeah.
So this is where the challenge is. Like they are not created a database. They have not segmented the database. These things are so important in today's world to actually get that growth momentum in your business.
But the system start, you need a thought leadership in your business, right? Like you were able to take the institute to where it is today because you saw a gap and you were like, कैसे होगा वो बाद में figure out कर लेंगे. लेकिन that same thing, I often go back to the why. If my why is not answered, everything else is meaningless. Once I know why I am doing it, मुझे मिल जाएगा, मुझे कंसल्टेंट मिल जाएगा, मुझे टेक मिल जाएगा, मुझे फ्रीलांसर मिल जाएगा, मुझे कोई ना कोई मिल जाएगा.
रास्ते सब निकलेंगे.
रास्ते सब निकलेंगे अगर मुझे पता है. So that has to come from the owner कि बैठो, निकालो,
Exactly.
देखो किसने 2 बार खरीदा, किसने 3 बार खरीदा. I have done that drill in my old job as well, where I be like, ये कस्टमर साल में 3 बार खरीदता है, ये कस्टमर साल में 4 बार खरीदता है. We used to go to trade shows. I even had segmented data down to the point where I would be like, this customer comes on day 1 of the show and this customer comes on day 5 of the show.
Wow.
And accordingly the SMS notification will go that morning to that segment के we are waiting for you at the booth. आएगा कस्टमर, क्यों नहीं आएगा? Because you've made them feel special and wanted as opposed to आओ आओ देखो देखो, you know.
Yes.
So it's the why, it's why you do it, and then the how manifests itself.
Super true. And this is actually game changing. You know, I think lot of jewelers will relate to what we are just discussing. I'm so sure about
I definitely hope so. I definitely hope that jewelers and people who are watching this kind of get ideas and get the motivation to just do it. I mean, like, it's as simple as that. Just do it.
So, a couple of quick things I want
Sure.
to ask you, before we conclude is, in your experience, I think you have a global clientele. I think
Yes.
you have customers in Europe, in US as well, in India as well. Which country do you think is the best to sell? And alongside this question, do you see any Indian sellers doing B2C or D2C outside of India?
Yeah, a lot of businesses. So, first question part, which country is best to sell? That's almost impossible to answer. I have clients primarily in UK, US, the whole GCC area, Middle East, right? Price points are different, preferences are different, but the problems are universal. Like, jewelry essentially is either a milestone purchase where I'm celebrating something, right? Personal achievement, birthday, promotion. I'm buying for an occasion. शादी है, vacation है, date night है, college fest है, जो भी है, depending on your target audience and your demographic that you're selling to. So the problems are universal everywhere. These are people who are living the same life everywhere. उनको वही करना है, ऑफिस में अच्छा दिखना है, पार्टी में अच्छा दिखना है, वेकेशन पे अच्छा दिखना है, इंस्टाग्राम पे अच्छा दिखना है. So the motivation is the same regardless of the market. In terms of brands who are doing well, there are many brands. If you just think about, like, even rooted in Indian jewelry, you can, Amama is a brand, Outhouse hai, Rapta by Rahul hai. These are all brands which have very beautifully managed to find that fusion modern contemporary space where it speaks of that Indian heritage and the design philosophy, but also appeals to a much wider audience. I have clients in UK who are like a big store who kind of house jewelry from all of these brands, and the Indian diaspora market over there, the brides, the affluent brides over there, want to wear these brands. They don't care where it came from because it speaks to their cultural upbringing and their design sensibilities. जहाँ पे उनको ऐसा बड़ा भारी वो जड़ाव या कुंदन नहीं चाहिए, but they still want that modern looking piece which their white friend in the office might ask, this is beautiful, I can see you myself wearing this.
Right.
So yeah, there are brands, and there are more brands coming up. I've recently seen, there's a very interesting brand called Olio Stories, which I'm really fond of these days. So there are a lot of brands who are kind of bridging that gap very successfully and kind of appealing to a very wider international audience as well.
Interesting. So what I was researching in between, and I was just comparing the conversion rates across different countries. India is among the lowest in terms of conversion rates. I found US to be the highest with an average conversion rate of more than 2.6%, around in that 2.5 to 3% range. So that's why I this question clicked as, is US like easier to sell to because of the way consumption is out there, or so my conclusion was that okay, it's easier to sell to a US than to sell to an Indian customer or a GCC customer when you are selling out of India.
Right.
So that's why I just thought. But
depends to a large extent on your brand and your market,
course,
I would
of
say.
course.
If
The
it
product
is
segment,
rooted in, like I said, if it's rooted in Indian culture and motifs and the whole history of India, then obviously you are operating in a slightly smaller competitive market where all of the Indian brands, and they're not going to find that piece in a Walmart, or they're not going
Right.
to find that piece in a Target store or any of H&M, Zara, right? But if you are doing demi-fine jewelry, then again, you are pretty much in the market with every other player, and the tariff situation right now and everything may.
But you still beat the prices, no? Even because of the cost in India. Like this, a local jeweler selling in US and an Indian jeweler selling to US from here. I think even with the tariffs also, I think your margins are there.
I think for the smaller players, the tariff is a problem, right? I think like margin, smaller players, smaller price points. And see, if you think about it, a bigger player, like, right, if you're selling, let's think about bridal jewelry, for example. A bride in the US or in the UK, you might be selling something over here for 2 lakhs, जो आप conversion के बाद maybe US you sell it at a different price. You are selling it at maybe $3,000, which becomes 2.5 lakhs, for example, correct? But they are very cued in. उनको सब पता है. A lot of brides, they are coming to India to shop because they also want to go to Sabyasachi. They also want to go to Manish Malhotra. So eventually, you can win the journey. You can win the part where जब वो India आएगी, तब वो आपसे खरीदेगी. And I'm talking specifically about high value luxury goods, like I said. उसमें you don't have that game. Because वो यहाँ आएंगे तो they're going to walk across a street where there are like 10 different stores. They're going to see everything from Carrot Lane to Tanish to Tiani to Malabar to Kalyan. They're going to exactly know कि किस चीज़ का price कितना है. So yes, where possible you can make that markup.
That is where stories will matter.
That is where stories will matter. Because if I resonate with something, then price seems to be the least of my concern. Because I'm like, मुझे यही चाहिए. That's it. It doesn't matter how much it costs.
Makes sense. So what about these other platforms? You know, right now whatever we spoke about was about having your own platform. Say Shopify is like your own platform, and you're going to sell and you're going to market that through SEO, through ads, everything. What about platforms like Etsy, eBay, Amazon Global Services? Do they help? Having presence out here helps, and which one is the best among all?
eBay is terrible for jewelry. eBay is absolutely terrible for jewelry. I'll just say that there was one point when it used to work, but now it is the worst of the lot. Etsy is still good if you're testing products, or if you have a part of your collection or your best sellers. Again, Etsy means you are necessarily exporting, because a larger part of the audience on Etsy is in the US, right? It also works if you have handcrafted, artisan, unique piece. अगर आपके पास oxidized silver का कोई piece है, वैसा कोई है, तो it is going to work better on Etsy. The issue with Etsy is it starts right at the listing fees. You're paying what, 20 cents on a dollar for listing the product. Then you're paying 7% on every sale that you make. You are in a marketplace. Your product is going to be right next to 10 other products which are pretty much the same thing. At that, it either becomes a value deal or it becomes a race to the bottom. If I am, for example, थोड़े time पहले I was looking at a gemstone ring that I wanted to buy. I'm like, after a certain point, there are like बहुत सारे vendors है. So either I'm going to pick the fastest service, highest reviewed. There is no brand loyalty. And one of the biggest drawback of a platform like Etsy is I don't have data over customer data. I can't take it outside. I mean, even if I do 5,000 orders on Etsy, I cannot send out a single email to any of that customer because that data is completely owned by Etsy. You can take email addresses out and send out, but it's going to be a violation and it is going to shut down your Etsy store. Amazon works good for under 3,000, 2,000. But again, Amazon is a volume game. Plus, Amazon fees are, if I'm not wrong, 16.5%.
Yeah, very expensive.
That's a killer.
Big commission.
Big commission. Really big, big slice of the whole pie. So as you can see, like the pros of having your own platform and not being on a marketplace definitely outweighs the reasons. However, you can definitely have it as a maybe testing ground, maybe to move some of the items that you need to clear. Once trust has been established, it could be to test the waters, but it can't be your primary channel only, just for the lack of control. That's exactly the same logic that applies to social media versus email marketing conversation also. कि अभी कल if Instagram goes MySpace way or Orkut way or बंद हो गया and you have like 100k followers on Instagram but not a single email address, so everything you've built over this year or like the few years is collapsed. You're gone. You're back at square one. So from that sense, marketplace as a secondary revenue driver with selected catalog, selected bestsellers, pushing it to get more awareness makes definitely sense, but only as the primary revenue engine can be a very risky strategy.
Correct. So obviously D2C on platform, always preferable, but do you think it's okay not to consider any of the secondary platforms, any of the aggregators? Or do you think there should be some support from an Amazon or an Etsy alongside your own website?
Like I said, as long as it's the secondary thing, as long as it doesn't take away your primary focus, कि आप Amazon के FBA में इतना busy हो गए हो कि you can't do any marketing, you can't do any social media content, you can't do any of the customer nurturing, it can still be profitable in the short term. I know so many businesses who've made it big just on Amazon on the product, right? But is it long-term sustainable? I feel like I would not put all my eggs in one basket. Even if it is profitable, I would use that profits to kind of build my own channel so that I don't have to keep paying 16.5% for the rest of my life.
So, apart from these platforms, for a smooth functioning, what are the tools? Say you are developing a website on Shopify. Is there anything outside of Shopify that you need? Some tool, say for example, Canva for, not Canva exactly, but obviously Canva for creatives and all. But are there any specific tools that help you in building the site, making it more appealing, making it more having higher conversions? For having higher conversion, do you need any form of integrations or tools like, say, HubSpot CRM integration, or like, are there some go-to tools or softwares that you would use alongside your Shopify?
So you have your Shopify, you have your WhatsApp integration, you have an email marketing platform, whether you use Klaviyo or WebEdge or Drip, whatever, Constant Contact, whatever the email platform. So obviously you need that, right? Some of these come with internal CRMs. Some of these come with extra tools which help you manage client data. So I think that is good. Canva can be useful for image optimization, graphic design. You mentioned it's a tool which again does the same thing, right? Basically, it eliminates the need for a professional designer because you have so much inspiration and template that you can kind of adapt in some way. Basic chatbots, I think, do very good. There is Truly Madly, there is Limelight, which can understand basic inquiries. Now most of them have like AI built in. Everything has AI baked in. So if you say I want like a gift for my 60-year-old grandmother, they understand the context and those can be very useful too, right?
But your content, like based on the queries, even your content descriptions of your each product should have that kind of searchable details, right?
Correct.
Only then will the chatbot extract. So this is like a thing that the user has to ensure, that the owner of the brand has to ensure that they're giving out those kind of details. Who is it for?
Right.
Why is the design the way it is? And those kind of things.
Correct. So that's where when I said earlier, that organic agar aapka base sahi nahi hai na, everything is going to somewhere suffer. Like I was talking to a client recently, last week only. They had an initial necklace, for example, that when we were trying to find ways how do we increase conversions. Right now their site is ranking very well for informational searches. They have hordes of visitors every month who come and visit their top blogs for information and everything, but conversions are low. There are no conversions. And we started going into product descriptions. So product descriptions, there is a initial necklace A to Z pura series. The product title में keyword है. It doesn't say personalized jewelry anywhere. Gemstone है वहाँ पे, it doesn't say gemstone jewelry anywhere on the product page itself. It doesn't mention the fact that this is a perfect gift, or it would make for a great holiday gift, or it would make for a great birthday gift. It has generic product descriptions, like 200 necklaces on the website. They all say this beautiful necklace. I'm like, no, each product has a reason, a function कि भाई is it gift appropriate? Who would it suit? आप किसको दे सकते हो ये gift? If it is a photo locket pendant, it's great for memories. If it is a multiple birthstone ring, probably it's a mother's jewelry who has 4 kids and wants like a birthstone for each of their child. So yes, you're right. You have to bake all of those things in to your product description for the chatbot to understand the context. But that can help. Obviously, any tools up to Shopify has this great sidekick feature, which is again AI bot where you can practically go in and ask what is my bestseller from the last 6 months and it will exactly tell you. Or if you want to say, I want this content built, where do I see or how do I set up discounts, it's exactly going to walk you through. So I think Shopify takes care of a lot of that AI part itself. So yeah, then photography, like we spoke about earlier, there is I think one app called booth.ai, if I'm not mistaken, like a photo booth, booth.ai, which helps you create lifestyle shots and model shots of your standard PNG images, transparent images. So there are a lot of apps which can help you grow and provide ultimately a better user experience while without needing like a 50% team to run your company.
That's true. In fact, that I think today it's much easier to build a lean team and scale, grow because of AI. And now we don't know what else is going to come with agentic AI and so much of random things coming in. Do you think this is going to play a very crucial role for brands? Because does it put a small brand suddenly at par with a legacy brand because of AI?
Absolutely. 100%. Now, the businesses this day have no reason to not know something. Whether it is writing an email marketing, you could go to AI and say, create a welcome email sequence or create a post-purchase sequence or a birthday reminder sequence, and it will do it. Quality will be questionable, whether you humanize it, whether you make it sound like your brand, but anything is better than zero. You're not now stuck at a point where a marketing guru has to come in and tell you how to make a content strategy plan. You could start at absolute ground zero, go in, upload a generic description of your brand and 5 of your bestseller images and ask it to make a social media content calendar, and it will do a decent job, better than what you do with your limited knowledge. So it definitely puts and gives a lot of power to smaller, leaner teams who are modern and willing to adapt tech to kind of go compete with larger brands, with larger teams. So
So we're going to see it happen now.
I'm absolutely sure we're going to see it. We're already seeing it. No, AI influencers has become a thing.
Yes.
AI avatars creating content has become a thing.
Right.
It's a matter of time.
I think I'm already seeing a lot of businesses start integrating AI,
Right.
but at a very low level, like for example, showcasing their designs onto a model and the entire photo booth concept. So you don't need a studio anymore. Things are just getting used through AI. So at that level, I am seeing it. What I would like to see is all these smaller brands adapting AI faster and not requiring to hire more people, because that is the only way they will be able to compete with larger brands. Now, on the downside of this is you're going to lose jobs, or new hirees are going to have to wait longer, or they'll have to upskill themselves really, really faster and get new angles. What I'm seeing is at the, we see this T level, right? So the person who's at the horizontal side has an advantage versus the person who's at a vertical side. Meaning, person who's going deeper into a particular skill, okay, they might lose out if they don't start thinking strategically. So that is where I feel the flaw is with the AI coming into the space. But at the same time, it gives such a good platform for any brand to be out there in terms of strategy, content, design, aesthetics, story that any legacy brand has to impart. Obviously, the experience, the number of years is less, but I think that we'll have to wait and watch.
It was very interesting. I love that. I might even steal that T framework that you spoke about. Actually, it makes a lot of sense because you have to cover the breadth and then find what you can drill down and be an expert at. So I actually really love that T framework.
Yeah.
It makes things super crystal clear. But yeah, I'm pretty sure we'll see it happen. We'll see it happen. Like with the agentic AI, like we were talking, it can just go and practically do it.
Do
Okay,
things,
now,
exactly.
now it's not that you give me a design and I go to Canva. I am just saying, Akshay Tritiya, I want to promote lightweight gold coins. Create a design in Canva. Red is my color, brown is my color, yellow is my color. It's going to give you something.
Yes.
So you are definitely at par. So and I don't fully agree with the fact that AI is going to take jobs. AI itself cannot take jobs, but
in itself it cannot.
as we've seen it on Facebook memes and seen it pretty much on posts all over social media, somebody who knows AI will definitely take your job because it's just better ROI. No, that person can deliver a lot more in 8 hours than somebody who can't. He's going to write 50 product descriptions, even if they need a little bit of iteration with a copywriter. I can have a senior copywriter look at 50 product descriptions tomorrow morning instead of a month later with somebody who has years of copywriting experience. So it definitely kind of makes things, how do you say it? A level playing field.
Exactly.
It's a level playing field. It's down to you now.
Nice. Thank you so much, Sohail.
You're
This
most
was a
welcome.
wonderful conversation. I think the insights that we've given in this podcast, I think it's probably one of the best for the industry out there.
Oh, thank you so much. I
thank you so
really
much. Thank
appreciate
you,
it. And it's an honor. It has been a fun conversation. And thank you so much for having me.
So this podcast was truly for somebody who wants to start their e-commerce journey in jewelry, or for all the traditional jewelers out there who want to take their business digital. It's like a masterclass in e-commerce today, specifically curated for the jewelry industry. Anything that you want to know about Shopify, we've covered a lot of these topics. So if you resonate with this kind of content, do hit like, subscribe for our channel, and share it to all the people that you think this is relevant for. Thank you.